Well, howdy there, folks. How's it going today? I hope you're all doing really good. Well, I'm getting ready to clamp this telecaster body together. If you guys been following along, I scored a bunch of ash boards that were upwards of 18 to 20 inches wide, some of them. And I'm just going to pancake two together and make a telecaster body with it. And I'm going to glue it together today, just because I'm really getting down to just the finesse work of getting rid of these little relief cuts that I made with a bandsaw. Okay, I think in hindsight I'm going to use a jigsaw next time to cut the body shapes out. Just take my time and do it right. A bandsaw works good, but it can be, a little tedious making these relief cuts to get these pieces out and to try to get that, just so. You can clamp them together, and I've been doing that all along. I actually put a couple screws through the body too and screwed them together just so I could work with them. And, as far as shaping the body shapes and doing all that. Now I've got the template all traced on here for the controls and all the routes. So as you can see, I drilled a hole and put a screw in where the bridge pickup is. There's one more over here where this little channel is for your wiring, okay? That'll all get removed when we, route those cavities out. So what I'm going to do right now is get rid of the clamps. I've done a dry run on this with all my clamps, and it's been sitting there for several hours clamped like that, which I think is a good thing too, because now it's going to take that shape, and hopefully it'll have a little bit of memory there. All right, let's get the clamps off. Okay, so I'm going to take these screws out. I am going to put those back in when we clamp this and glue it together too, just so it's got something kind of pulling it together in the middle here as well. Okie doke, well, we got to get the glue out. We're going to use fish glue to hook these together. This is Bench Q. It's made in Searsport, Maine, and works really good. I don't know the people or anything like that, but they don't fool around. When you order it, they ship it out real quick and works real good. You can get this on eBay. All right. Well, you got to let this stuff warm up. I keep this in the refrigerator just so it will last longer, honestly. So you got to make sure it's warmed up real well when you get ready to hook your stuff together. Okay, we're getting it spread out here. Now, if it's a little chilly, it'll come out kind of gelatinous like this. You just let it sit there for a minute, and as the air hits it, the warmer air, it'll puddle right out, and or you can just try to work some of it in, kind of spread it out too. That works great as well. Now you could use Tight Bond or hide glue or whatever you want to use on this. I like fish glue. I like the work time, and I also like the fact that I don't have to put it in a double boiler like hide glue and go through that whole ritual, but they all work well. It's just really about preference. All right, we got to put a little bit more on here. Yeah, now it's warming up pretty good. It's starting to run out, like it's almost the tackiness of honey when you first get this stuff out. It really does have some tack factor to it, which is good, It holds the parts together well, and it's got a good work time, like I said. It's not instant, but when you stick these pieces together, it's going to be hooked pretty good. I mean, you can still slide them around, but it's going to take a little bit of effort to squeeze them or spread them apart, I should say. Or separate them again. Okay, I want just a little bit more up here. This kind of gives me a little idea of what the guitar might look like if I clear coat it too. Kind of handy. All right, just a little more over here, and I think we're going to be ready to stick these together. Okay. Just trying to make sure I get it out to the edge as well, and we will have some glue squeeze out for sure, but that's okay. It's part of it. All right. I think we're good to go, guys. Let's get them together. Get my paintbrush out of the way. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use those, the screws that I put in the cavity routs to help me get this started and just get it aligned so that way I can start clamping it and I know it's going to be where it needs to be. We should be pretty handy right there. All right. Yep, that's lined up. Now what I'll do is I'll put a couple clamps on here, and then I'll back those screws out. And after I get all the clamps on, I'll put the screws back in and cinch them down a little bit. Because if I clamp this with the screws in right now, the screws are going to be holding it. You know, it could be spreading it apart a little bit, and we don't want to crack nothing or break nothing. Okay, let's put the clamps to it. Okay, so I'm going to get some, this is laminate flooring, but it has a styrofoam backing, so it is padded, and works pretty good. Okay, let's set a few out here, maybe one more back in this area, something like that. Okay, let me get some clamps. Okay, let's give them a little bit of tension, and that'll hold it. Oh, I covered up my screw. I gotta get that out of the way. Okay, that's better. All right, well, I gotta repeat the process here and get a few more on it. The biggest reason I'm doing this is, honestly, like I said before, it's just, I'm getting down to the point where it's going to be basically finish and finesse work, so I really want these stuck together and as one piece. That way, if I'm, sanding or doing anything like that, it's going to be finished product, you know what I'm saying? And these are starting to kind of cup a little bit, so I want to get them tied together. They're not bad, but it's going to get worse if I don't do something. Okay, so now I'm going to take these screws out real quick, and we'll go around and clamp everything up and put the screws back in. Well, I hope you guys don't mind seeing this in daily increments. I think that's what I'm going to do as far as documenting these builds that I'm working on, and instead of just shooting one video and trying to cram the whole build in there, there's a lot of info along the way that I'm sure I'm going to learn, and hopefully I can share that with you guys too. Okay, so let's get the screws out, we'll put the clamps to it, and we'll be looking pretty good. All right, well, it's time to put the screws back in. Everything went down nice and flat. Kind of a odd clamping setup, but it is what it is. You have to use different clamps on different shapes. That's how it goes. So it's good to have a good variety of them. Now these screws in the middle here will help kind of tighten things up. I should be able to get them out easy enough. I mean, if I have to touch them with a soldering iron just to heat the glue up there for a second, I can do that. You could also put some wax on them, chapstick, anything like that, Vaseline, just so the glue won't stick to it. Okay. I think we're going to call it good right there, folks. Well, like I said, I've got a bunch of different clamps out here, but, it works. As long as it's flat and it'll stay that way, that's all we care about, right? Alright, I gotta go wash the brush off and clean the glue bottle up. That's it for the glue today. Okay, well, we got some good squeeze out here. I went around it with a piece of paper and just tried to see if I could, get something in there, and no go. It's deceiving to look at it. It might even look like there's a gap there, but it's actually one piece sticking out, so you have a shelf. And, that's how that goes. So, at least now when I do the rest of the finish work on it, it'll be exactly. Using clamps is really monotonous because you can't, get into the belt sander or get it near tools with all the clamps on it. So, that's why I screwed it together first and shaped it and got it in close. But you don't want that spread apart at all, when you're shaping it, because one side's going to be different than the other. So we've come to this point. We're almost done with the shaping, and it's good to have them glued together. Alrighty, well, I just got done taking the clamps off the telly here that we glued together. Again, these are pieces of ash boards, 1 inch thick, and there's no seam in the middle. It's just pancaked together. So it'll come out good. Everything's nice and flat and straight. I'll be putting the template on this one here in a while and start routing out the cavities. Probably give it another 6 or 8 hours to dry up real well, and we'll tackle that. All right, now while that's waiting, or while we're waiting, I should say, for that to dry, we're going to glue up a couple Explorer bodies here. I've got 2 of them that I'm going to pancake together just the way we did the other ones. And I think I'll glue them at the same time. And that'll keep them from cupping and moving and warping and all that. I just want to get these so they're in a good solid state. So that way, I don't have to worry about them too much. And then it's just a matter of routing out the cavities and doing some finish work. All right, let's get going. All right, we're going to use tight bond on this one. We used fish glue on the other one, on the telly. Now, it doesn't really matter. You can use whatever you want, and should do the trick. Tight bond, wood glue, fish glue, hide glue, any of those should work just fine. So we're going to get this spread out, and I've made a few dents in the bottom side of the other piece, just so the glue has something to grab onto. That's not a bad idea either. All right, we got to get some more glue here. You can't be scared with the glue, guys. All right. Now I've sanded these pieces flat and level, got all the raised grain out of there. So, when we clamp them up, it should clamp up nice and tight. You probably won't see much of a seam when we get done, hopefully. The telly come out pretty good as far as that goes. It really locked together nice and tight, so that's what we're looking for here. Now, I know one piece of wood would be a lot better, but I'm just trying to put this stuff to good use. My friend gave it to me. It's been sitting around for a long time, and it's really aged well, and it's been stored correctly, so it's nice and flat, and this should make a great sounding guitar. So, again, it's just a matter of getting that glue spread out all the way across there as much as you can. You don't want to leave any voids or anything. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Seems like a lot of people panic when they get the glue out, you know. You got to work quick, but you got to kind of take your time too as you do it and make sure you're doing it correctly and getting a good coverage of glue here. So I'm just going to go around the edge like that one more time. Quick little spread. I'll put some on the other piece and we'll lock them together. Okay, so I'm just going to get a couple clamps on it. I got to reset this one. I'll end up moving these before it's over with, but this is just something to help get me lined up here at first. And like I said, then I'll just kind of manipulate these as I go. But I just want to try to get it sort of lined up here, so there'll be a lot less moves once I start clamping everything. All right, gotta get some more cawls out here. I'm just using the laminate flooring here. It's got a padding on the back, kind of like styrofoam, and seems to work pretty good. I don't want to dent the guitar if I can help it, so I think I'll put that one there, and I'll just kind of set this one in here. All right, let's get some more clamps. All right. I think I'll put one right here. I got to get one underneath there too. Let's just kind of stick this one here, I guess. Get it lined up good. I didn't like that. Kind of moved on me a little bit there. Let's see. There we go. All right. Just keep doing what we're doing. Okay. Starting to get her locked together now. Yep, that looks pretty good. Okie doke, we're gonna call it good right there. And we'll let that one dry. I got another one that I'm working on. And I'll let this dry for a few hours. Then what I'm gonna probably do is take the clamps off it. I'll get the other one ready and I'll set that on top of this one and I'll clamp them both together and let them sit for a day or so. All right, well, off camera, I did do some routing yesterday on this telly, get everything located. This probably isn't going to be the pit guard that goes on, it's just sitting on there. I was just seeing what it looked like. I did route it for a humbucker too, so everything seems to be good, lined up good, neck pockets nice, so I think we're going to be in good shape on this one. Also, I did notice this. Now, we pancake these together. When that's finished sanded, it's going to be really hard to see that line from what I can see. I mean, you probably will see it slightly, but I like how the grain kind of lines up between both pieces. Really cool. So I got a little more sanding to do. Got to round the edges over and get everything cleaned up that way. Of course, we'll finish sand the top and back and be looking pretty good on this one. I think it's actually going to become a guitar. Okay, so here's the Explorer body that we glued up and clamped down. It's been sitting there for a little over 24 hours now, so I'm going to take the clamps off this one. And I didn't clamp the other one together yet. I've got it pinched together so it's staying, straight and it's not cupping or anything, but it's time to get that one glued up. And I've got a Mustang offset body that's going to get glued up today as well. So once these are glued up, I feel comfortable storing them and they should stay straight and flat. And that's really what I'm trying to trying to do here. I'm not really hurrying, but it needs to be done, and it's not a big deal. Just line everything up, put some glue on, and let it rip. So I think we're off to a pretty good start. I did learn some things about routing and whatnot yesterday, and I'm going to shoot a nice video on how I do the cavities on this. Within the first 20 minutes, I replanned everything and changed my whole game plan. So there's a pretty easy way to do this. You don't need a ton of tools to do it either. So I would like to go over that with you guys. I think it might help you guys out and maybe even inspire some of you to try this. You don't need a full-blown wood shop to build a guitar. It's not like that at all. It's, it's a little more complex than building a birdhouse, let's say that. But all in all, it's not really as tough as I thought. So once again, I'm going to work on this one too after I get the other one glued up. Get those other two bodies glued up, and while those are drying, I can concentrate on this. I'm really just kind of up in the air what I'm going to do yet for pickups. I may just, pull the ripcord and put a humbucker in there. I got a Seymour Duncan double stacked single. It looks like a single, but it's a humbucker 4-wire. I might do that too, and then push-pull. Maybe push-pull both of them. I'm not sure yet. That stuff's really easy to me because I do a lot of it. It's, just figuring out really how to shape this stuff, how to get the cavities routed with the tools that you have. And again, I'm going to do a kind of an in-depth, stripped-down video on how to do that. And I think you guys may be surprised it's not as hard as you think. Hopefully. All right, guys. Well, stay tuned. I'm going to get some more stuff glued up here, and then we'll be right back at it. Well, thanks again for watching. We'll see you real soon. Be good. Okie doke.